Hello everyone, Storm101 here. Today we'll be having an update on the severe weather potential across parts of the Midwest. Mainly for Saturday, we'll probably talk about Sunday in a little bit more detail, maybe sometime tomorrow or the next day, because we don't really have high resolution models getting throughout most of that day. Also, I might make well, let me backtrack a little bit. I had thought of putting tropics in the mix on this video, but I think the video would be too long. So I may make a separate video maybe later today or tomorrow. We'll just see how things go here. But let's just go and get started with the severe weather, which is a little bit closer to the event than the tropics. So let's look at the Storm Predictor outlook. So this is for today. We got a couple margin risks. We actually got a margin risk across parts of the northwest, across parts of Oregon, southeastern Washington, Idaho, southwestern Montana, northwestern Utah, and also for northeastern Nevada as well. We got another march of risk across parts of northern Iowa, eastern Minnesota, southern Minnesota, and western Wisconsin as well. And the main threats would be wind and hail, tornado threat. We're not really expecting much in the way of tornadoes today. Tomorrow we got a couple margin risks again. We got one across parts of northern Wyoming, southeastern Montana, uh, western South Dakota, and even for southwestern North Dakota. And we also got another margin risk across parts of eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and even for far southeastern Minnesota as well. Same threats, just wind and hail. Not really expecting much of a way to the tornado threat. And this is the day we're going to be talking about, which is day 3. We got a big cyclist area across parts of the southern half of Minnesota, eastern South Dakota, northeastern Nebraska, the northwestern half of Iowa, and for western Wisconsin. And there is all hazards going to be involved with this setup here: wind, hail, maybe even a chance for a few tornadoes as well. But there are some uncertainty with this setup. Let's check out the models. So we're going to start with the high-res NAM, and we're going to go and skip to Saturday, and you'll notice already this is late Friday night into early Saturday morning. Look what we got going on. Lots of showery convection out there, and this may continue on over the next few hours. And this is in the afternoon. You still got a lot of showery convection out there. Lots of shower activity out there. If this is going to be the case, the severe weather chances will be lower. They will be lower, given the fact there won't be as much stability to work with. However, the model does show some thunderstorms forming later on, and the atmosphere may have just enough time to recharge and may try to fire up some more thunderstorms. For some of these, could be strong to severe. You can see here, there is a few out here. So you got area thunderstorms there, some thunderstorms there, and also got some thunderstorms down here as well. Oh yeah, forgot to mention this. We got a large margin risk for the Canadian border down the Texas Panhandle, which is pretty insane there. Very large margin risk area for these areas in here. So not only it's going to be for parts of the Midwest, but it's also going to be for a pretty large area. I mean, most of the Midwest is involved, or should say the upper Midwest and parts of the plains as well. So it's a big severe weather setup as well. But anyways, getting back to this, the hard state does indicate the atmosphere may recharge just in time for storms to develop. We will see what later runs will show on here, but that's the max of the run there. I think another uncertainty is going to be the cap here as well, which let's check out for the other models first on its reflectivity. As you can see here, this is getting into the afternoon hours, and then again, lots of showers and thunderstorms across parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa, even across parts of Kansas and Nebraska. But then again, it may recharge just in time to fire off some new storms. Now this is getting into the overnight hours, so this is 6Z on Sunday. So this is like 1 o'clock in the 1 o'clock in the morning, and you look at all these thunderstorms, and this could become a little bit more of an organized cluster, and this will be the main threat will be damaging winds. I think the tornado threat will be there as well, but the hail threat will be very low for those storms. Those will continue to march eastward, but into the early morning hours, they'll start to die out, and then we're going to see what happens on Sunday here in its next couple of runs. Set that up real quick. So let's check out the GFS here, and it does show some morning convection as well, not as much as the NAM at higher NAM, but it does show quite a squall line there. It's got a squall line that forms pretty much along the as far north as the South Dakota and Minnesota border, all the way down to the Texas Panhandle. Quite a line of strong to severe thunderstorms as well. It looks to be more of a broken line indicated by the GFS of maybe not everybody gets rain. Then when you get to the overnight hours, that line does continue to move eastward. Now it's starting to move in across parts of Iowa and maybe get into parts of Missouri as well. And eventually those storms will die out to the early morning hours. And Sunday, may have to watch a little bit further east here. It does show a couple of cluster thunderstorms further east across parts of Illinois, Wisconsin as well. So we'll watch for Sunday as well. But I want to wait probably till tomorrow where some of these swallows could get into that range there, so we'll have a better idea what would be going on that far out. So let's go and check out the surface-based cape with the sign in. If you're going to have a whole lot of sign in, you're not going to get much in the way of thunderstorm development. If you do get thunderstorms in some of the higher sign in values, like maybe 50 to 100, they're not going to be as organized. Plus, they'll have trouble kind of keep it up with its strength, so they won't be as bad as without the sign in. But here it is going into the afternoon hours or late afternoon to early evening hours. You can see there is quite a bit of instability out there. In those red colors, that's 4,000 plus of CAPE, which is quite a bit. That's pretty beneficial for some severe weather in that top of the environment. We'll get a couple soundings out there. We'll go for one right here in central Iowa. While that loads, we'll check out the NAM at the same time. It does show something not that much similar at all. It doesn't really show much of widespread activity in the Cape. However, the Hires Dam does the best job with the Cape. I've seen it done pretty well in the past. So I do have a little bit more trust, but I think it's a little bit overdone with the instability, especially given the fact there is going to be some morning convection. I think the numbers would be lower. So I think the NAM might be a little bit more accurate here. But it does show some spots of 5,000 plus, which I kind of have some doubts on that. But I think it's going to be more of a general, maybe 2,000 to maybe 3,500 joules per kilogram of CAPE, and there might be isolated areas of 4,000 plus. But that is pretty isolated in nature. We'll see what the highest NAM shows, and that's in central Iowa. And you can see here, not really a big tornado setup. I mean, you do have a decent hodograph there, but there's just not a whole lot of wind shear to work with. I mean, 30 knots is not bad, but 16 to 22 knots, it's not that great for tornadoes. Another thing I want to mention here is the wind direction of height. So if you go down to the surface, winds are coming from out of the south. But if you go to 850 millibars, it's to the southwest. But if you go up to 500 millibars, it comes from the west. That's quite a bit of wind direction of height there, and I've seen other models show a little bit more of a significant wind direction of height as well within some of these soundings here. But keep in mind, the winds are not that strong, so it doesn't really indicate a strong tornado threat. You may have quite a wind direction of height, but the winds are not that strong. If the winds do trend stronger up there, that could lead to a little bit more wind shear, and the tornado threat will increase. Maybe even for a chance for strong tornadoes. But right now, I'm not really forecasting strong tornadoes at this point. Another thing I want to mention here is the damage wind threat. I mean, downdraft cape is over 1,000, and also lap rates is pretty good as well. Now that can also lead to a hail threat as well. So some places could see some large hail when these storms do develop. Here's the NAM here, and you can see here definitely a little bit different here than what the NAM has, or the higher SAM, I should say. A little bit different. But it also still shows that wind direction of height between the surface and 500 millibars. And it's pretty small photograph going on right here. Not that impressive or anything like that. There is some wind shear. It's a little bit weaker on the wind shear. Pretty decent lap rates though. That's going to help with thunderstorm development. There's also a little bit of a cap there as well. And that's going to lead to some absurdities as well. You also got a pretty decent elevated mix layer as well at some of our millbars. That's going to help those storms build a little bit better as well. So really the primary threat with the setup here is going to be maybe some isolated tornadoes, damage winds, and maybe some large hail. I think it's an all hazards type of setup here. But the main concern here, or the biggest uncertainty, I should say, is going to be the cap and the morning convection. It kind of depends on how much morning convection is going to be out there as well. Check out see what the GFS shows, and you can see here it's not that impressed. But keep in mind it's not really that high resolution model, so it's not going to be that impressive. But you can see there is some capping going on out there, or some cyanidus, I should say. There is some instability as well to work with. This is what the GFS has to say. It actually shows a little bit more wind shear to work with. A little bit more wind shear. A little bit better photograph going on here. And wind shear is a little bit better, anywhere from 28 to 34 knots. That's pretty good. Storm wave to velocity numbers is pretty good, too. Lap rates are not terrible. They're not bad. Downdraft cape's favorable for day 2 winds. There's some instability to work with. You do have a little bit of a weak cap there. Let me draw the circle a little bit better. You do have a little bit of a weaker cap. Another thing is that the GFS does show some stronger winds with a wind direction of height. So if the GFS is correct, this shows a little bit of an increased tornado potential here. So it's definitely something we need to watch here as well. It even shows a threat of strong tornadoes within this thing here as well. But I think the strong tornado threat should stay very low on this setup here. So I'm not really expecting much way of strong tornadoes. But if it does trend towards what GFS is showing, like some stronger winds at between 1,000 and 700 millibars with a wind direction of height, that might be a little bit concerning there. But for right now, it's something to watch here. But I don't really expect any enhanced rest to be upgraded again for those places in there. Just get the fact we got two uncertainties. One thing is the cap, and another thing is that more the convection. If we don't really see much of those two things, I think the severe weather threat may be higher, and it might just be high enough for enhanced risk to be issued. But I think we'll probably see enhanced risk maybe as early as maybe the afternoon update tomorrow or day one update. We'll just see how the models will trend over the next couple of days. I'm interested to see what the hurry and the rapid refresh do show. Um, that will probably give us a little bit better idea, or the uncertainty is just going to be much higher. But we'll see what the models will show over the next couple of days here. And so here's checking out on Sunday here. The models do show some better instability on Sunday here, but the thing is that it doesn't really show much away of shower thunderstorm activity popping up on Sunday. So still something to watch on that day as well, and then we'll have to watch what goes on beyond that as well. May have to watch for the threat of storm clusters across parts of the Midwest into early next week. But then again, it's still something to watch for now. Haven't really looked too much into that setup just yet, since we're still a little bit far out. Plus, models do not do well with storm clusters a few days out. But we'll watch it very closely there. But anyways, guys, that's all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you really like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, you can put a comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.